nhớ trong giấy trong nhà chỉ cái tên cha nung nó giờ lúc chỉ tu nó thì có bé xong ấp hạ cầu xa của nhà bỏ đi vào lúc xem nó hòn đông sân phò sân Minnesota số sử dụng nó của cho bé mồm lòng lúc trong sala lọ tờ senator phụng hơi của tàu chấp lúc trong bắt sum rồi giờ lúc trong sala hữu nhận điện chính phong senator sĩ thả thì chính thế tận đây nó hay nên sửa yêu là chỉ trả có mua ít khó chờ rồi lúc ba我是要到底，反正嘞，要到杭州生活生活的说的，可能也考正正的，可能也考不碰中行，要到好孬，一大类都是还能说正到每一考不碰好孬，一考 location 要到好了做我蒙登蒙都了不地或的蒙 culture Plaza， 可能也一考。我呢，梦有到叫梦等梦多多叫我们找得好，他找到的脑主要的一天找到了个多程度还得的，你要单到这路在前面来讲呢，路跑呢路跑第一的还能属于到只找的梦有没分数啊，你要多好也容易加的。
我来考 project 呢，对都比当地路了，都比都路 city 了，都到市场，但全地唱不路上过下，那是考个。lúc để lúc hậu lực bao lâu rồi ô khả nó thật mà tôi biết là bao lúc xong rồi tôi thấy cái vấn đề tôi chụp qua theo một hôm nó để tôi approve là district G council nó là cho neighborhood là những bộ rong tăng là nó thao cho district để một cái city tôi approve để mà nó tháo sẽ state của bang tàu nhà mình chỉ ô khả design nó nè để cái ô hà cũng sáng tạo cho khó họ chính chính nó cái nó để là有梦到容啊的是嘛，我们弄路边梦就是当看啥，都路可能係想定路上嗰個咩叫佢叫nó做哈就佢包間好了哈，包面就可能哈，這邊有夢做嘅字大咗啲咯嘛，有咧古實嚟叫佢Linda哈就表示寫看佢個波圖樣就非常靚哈，做小嘅圖樣做佢nhớ cho China Friendship Garden ha trong hôm nay and earlier I saw Elizabeth Dickinson too, right? Oh, she's there, and we have also one mayoral candidates joining us today too. And the agenda is here on a piece of paper. Tôi có chữ để trong tôi dạng lên nó, có chữ tôi dạng lên nó để cái pi để cuối cuối bà mình chỉ tại vì phi là chẳng đủ, sau là thì lên đại học bà khó nghiên cứu tại vì chẳng sẽ phải là chụp gì nó, sau đó là thì sáng của great show vậy tụi kia chỉ lo là cho số cứ mấy cả chưa số lao rồi great show có gì nhau nó chỉnh để trong bên là ha là để bà lấy hạt cho bà mình chỉ hay là chính lấy chẳng cho bao giờ số lâu nhá tới chẳng nó ha, sau đó làm gì ha biểu tụi họ hàng mình chỉ tụi cho tụi neighbor nhá cho fan lên cho tụi sáng của một khán nô rồi mà tụi nhá chỉ tụi cho nhăn đau cho khán nô là ha, thì không đợi thì lên làm mà lên bán mình chỉ tụi lúc chỉ cha cứ tại lúc chế cứ bố hụt về liền đó nè, không lên làm báo tám rồi chế bên mà lên mua luôn nu, thầu nu họ thì có sáng của bên nu lên bên cho chẳng bên là thì nữa mà là một chỉ hạt nu lô một lúa hạt nó chỉ là hạt của chế lên bên là thì tên đó hạt trang thì Elizabeth yếu tố lúc chỉ hạt hạt tại có trang mình chỉ là hạt nữa nè Elizabeth mà nhất là nó mà một là thì hạt bên là chỗ ít là thì gì là chỗ bên trong là thì gì của sẽ giàu cho bên trong này trong tụi cái tổ nó nuจะขอเชิญถ้าไม่สั่งในจานโจขอคือดีไซน์เนาะหรือโมเอาเป็นเกย์ฮะหรือโมเกย์เกย์ออกเกย์ฮะจีฮันแล้วหรือเขาอยู่พี่คนเดียวแต่อย่าลุ้นเจ๊คือพวกเจ้าหุ่นเจ้าหอยไม่สั่งกูให้เขาตรงในจาน
ตอนเป็นตัวเขาชี้จนเสียจะหมู่ป้าเขาทางจากมันทะเลว่าหมู่ตอนที่ชื่อว่าเต้นแล้วเลยเป็นเด็กเขาเต้นถึงเที่ยวน้องพูดจอเราว่าสิริคันสองว่าแม่งก็ได้ท่อวันนี้พูดตรงป้าตีว่าสิริเขาว่าเมื่อเขาเนี่ยนะจานเสียได้กับเราเสียจะหลอกป้าเราเขาว่าพาเก็บมาเที่ยวเดี๋ยวเขาเดินเราหมู่นะเดี๋ยวพูดถามก็เราเขาพิซิโอเคเขาเนี่ยอยากเขาเก่งคือนั่นถามสมัครเก่งคือแต่ว่าChangsha theo và sinh phò và không dư là để Changsha mà lấy lúc trồng hoặc là lúc capital city và nhớ đồ cũng làm khá về dạng và giờ lúc trồng của họ cũng không nhìn nhớ đồ họ lòi họ phải chờ từ sức để bảo thiết để là thế họ chỉ là bé để và mình không có thể được kiếm chỉ cho họ và không rồi nè thì và ít sẽ chụp quay chỗ gì là thìตัวเป็นตัว former mayor Lamer ช่วย Lamer นั่นมันตัวมันเจ้าเก็บผู้ยืนเจ้าชัวรู้สิเดียช่างชาติก็ตัวเก็บผู้ยืนก็ตัวใส่ที่จอดได้แต่เอาลูกน้องนะเดี๋ยวเอาลูกน้องเราว่าผู้ยืนนั่นนะเดี๋ยวauto mayor ตรงที่ที่ตัวเดียวตัวที่เราเทียบเดี๋ยวทำต้องแต่ละเทียบเป็นสิ่งผสมเลยเดี๋ยวช่วงต่อเต้นเดี๋ยวเราเป็นช่วงเกี่ยเราคือก่อนเราเอาเก็บผู้ยืนเราชี้เจ้าเจ้าแล้วนะแต่พอเราจะยาวว่าจะรู้ว่าจะช่วยที่เป็นมาตรฐานจริงๆเราเป็นที่เราเมื่อเสร็จเราเป็นเดี๋ยวเขาจะลูกมีเสียงแล้วจะขอจึงเชื่อแต่ว่าลูกชายนักก็เลยนั่งมาได้ว่าชีที่เรามัวจะที่เขาจะเหมือนถ้าเราเก็บผู้ยืนแต่ว่าเราว่าลูกจะมาเทียบแต่เด็กลูกชายนักก็เลยเนี่ยลูกว่าจะเก็บผู้ยืนนะแค่ดีว่าชีเราจะถ้าเราOK， 这可能就话一好个对不起的话，你就一到好话，你就一个生活话的给我，然后我一考如果就係就是你有一考啲多，一考就咁樣嘅啦，咁樣落嚟你就咁 meditate 嗰啲咧係冇咧啦，你都會點答，你啱啱就嘅人叻嘅啲唔多，啲博咗落多啲，你都會點答，你考啲做嘅，你就我諗就一度話。คือเส้นเจบอกลูกเบลเลยนี่ซิงมาเนี่ยจะอีกตัวคือโต๊ะให้ตัวดีไซน์ชั้นหน่อยเช่นพวกมันเป็นให้มันจะดูว่าเราว่าจะนอกว่าดูว่าเราว่าสต็อปเชอร์ว่ายัดตีนะว่าจะดูสีเยอะ
And they tell me that they're working on it. So after about 3 years of their working on it, I asked them who's working on it. So I was introduced to Linda at that point, and I talked to the Parks and Rec design department, and I found out nobody was actually working on it because there was no money.
Thì cũng chết một trâu lên đá, giờ lên luôn từ qua là lên đá, ông nhưng chỉ sống từ qua thế giờ về để biết tôi chỉ muốn nhia đi.
So I was a member of the District 5 board and on the environmental committee, and we called a public meeting at that point, November 2014.
Okay, thì cuối cũng có được là District G, planning District G cho thành phố là giá trị cái đây là một số hàng là một cái chi thả, cái là một nó ở sau cho họ cái là một cái là G.
About 2,000 people showed up, including Representative Tim Mahoney and a representative of Phalen. And we looked at the proposals and did the presentation of what they're proposing. Out of that came a list of suggestions of what people wanted to see in the China Garden, and the sense of the people who showed up was very positive. And Tim Mahoney and Phalen went off and got $50,000 of legacy funding for conceptual design. So that was the first 8 yes.
Okay, thì cho nên là cái là lòng không phải chiết thả thì cái này làที่ว่าจะเป็นจงตุ้มแล้วมันย่อต่อของนะเรื่องของแต่งนี้เราโอ้เจ๊มาเที่ยวเขาชิดถ่าตายที่แต่จะได้เดียวว่าขอเนี่ยขออะไรเดี๋ยวแค่มีชิดตาเด็กก็ถือว่าในตัวที่เป็นการนั้นตัวตีเราที่เจ๊หญิงไว้ซาโจเลยตัวละแล้วตัวอะไรเราว่าที่ที่เราตัวเขาเขาถือว่าเป็นอย่างนี้เช็คการโรเต้นย่อแต่เราโซ่ช่องโรเต้นย่อที่เราสุดแค่
And from 1882 to 1943, there was the Federal Chinese Exclusion Act, where the United States shut the doors on Chinese immigrants.
Yeah, thì lễ vào đó là cầu quốc tế thì qua tận trước qua cái bé mình thì tất cả là lỡ tu mới cho sửa là chỉ của nào vậy.
Despite that, starting in 1914, the University of Minnesota was able to have Chinese students come and study for more than 100 years.
Thì từ đó là thổi cái khẩu khẩu đó thì thấy rồi lúa bèo và vui tại khi họ trong đời là mình sửa là lúc là đầu tiên.
So now the University of Minnesota has more than 2,000 students, almost 3,000 in any given year.
Thì chính là sự nói về tại dù đã thì đã tất cả là phát xe cầu kết xe từ và nó đã họ và tại chung cả là nó có cái từ mua cả nó.
And China is very important to Minnesota for the export market. It's our second largest export market.
số tế là nhà lúc tế tiểu chuyển tế nó tôi tế tiểu cảm thế và chúng tế nhà mình có làm mà thì mình có làm mà số tế rồi tế tiểu ót của tế của là lỗ là củaเราtế sản tếของtế tại tế của lọt ở tế sản đượcของtế của tế củaเราở cái chí vậy nó này do lọc sưởi giả tên nó chế lô tên cho lô tên và nó rất là chọn nó là hay phải chỉnh tên mình là tôi cũng bạn nhé có gì về tôi của họ sẽ nằm nhau sẽ là một thứ này rất là cách tiết.
Even the windows are designed to create frames around specific views.
Từ để cho con trai và họ sẽ tầm tức là lấy tiền hoa của cả trong này nó có bỏ nó có ít phải khó view là ít khó khăn đó phải tổng thì bỏ trong.
And the pathways are often mosaics that tell stories. So there's a lot of possibility for designs throughout the park with different cultural motifs on walkways.
Từ đó kế và một trong cái ba này muốn khai trong khai đến đầu nhận kế là tức là những kho dùng hành trong khai thì có một tổ thực hiện là những theo các kho năng đã được kho thiết.
So in short, the gardens were created by a class of Chinese who had to compete very hard to get a job in the government. Once they had the job, then they had to move from the country to the city. Once they're in the city, they walled off their city plot and they created their sacred garden there so they could feel like they were back in the country.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah. Okay. Cái trong vậy là cái thấy cái phần đó là cái phần nó sẽ trong cái này mình sau hơi rất là đẳng trong đẳng các bạn trái tổng cứ để lấy cứ một chỉ tàu thế ở pha thế nào nhá đồng đá để nó tự nó chỉ tàu qua để nó create tàu chắc phải điều để phải dùng đá nhá để giả sát hết.
And the big difference between Chinese and Japanese gardens is it's not something to walk around and look at and admire. It is something to live in. You create painting in, you create poetry, you entertain, you have parties. It is part of your living space.
Mà cái phải chịu là cho pha và cho pha sửa để phaญี่ปุ่นmà tới mình chỉ để coi mình nhau rồi coi mình đi mình tàu chế để cái nào phải chịu và phải để dùng tàu pha sửa mà coi mình nhau tao đó có cái bỏ nó có thằng nó có khó thì nó có tàu để coi chơi được cái điểm mình so với cái khách là một két.
And it is also part of your learning space. And I have a quote to end with that actually came from our senator. So our senator at the site dedication said that he was thanking the indigenous caretakers of the lake, the Native Americans and all the park, everybody, for keeping this environment healthy, so that today this surrounding is worthy of contemporary Middle Earth, where we have cultural exchange of East and West.
Các lúc nào mà cũng mang thẳng thì là để thầu nhất là tỏ và để nào họ xây education này thằng bé mình sửa hóa ba là chỉ là được của tao hay còn để cho cho gửi những cái sự nhớ hàng để lấy thế kể để và để trong tên là dòng nhá để hai cho nó dòng nhá thằng kia của thằng bé kho cứอยู่ไอ้ที่ชอบคือจะเราได้เราชิดตัวเลยว่าชาติตัวเราชาติต้อง
The Hmong Cultural Plaza in the middle, and at the very top, the pavilion, which is surrounded by trees.
แต่สิ่งที่มาเป็นแต่เป็นที่นั่นเดี๋ยวมาปีเกี่ยวกับนั่นปีเกี่ยวกับที่ชอบเราเลยอย่างเดียวกับเป็นที่มาเดี๋ยวเป็นหมู่คณะเลยลูกค้าตรงนั้นเราชาติต้องเดี๋ยวเป็นของตรงมาเราลองกันเราเอาลูกค้าชัวของการที่เราเอาเลยเดี๋ยวเราชาติเราเดี๋ยวเป็นของเดี๋ยวมองเขาเกิดทางต่างđể cho họ biết bọn nó thích on nữa để sau đó nó không được tha giả nữa nó để cái đồ bỏ nó rút chế và dễ dàng và nó thành một cái
This is phase 2. It will be a rock garden along the stream and then the arched bridge.
Cái này phase 4 thì nó bây giờ bỏ và thành phần đó cái bỏ ra theo là tụt sau một thò và nó là thành ra theo và đó bỏ có dễ để cho mình khó và khó.
And then phase. Oh, here's another picture. It'll be that front part is phase 2.
Yeah, and they are all phase on there.
And then phase 3 will be the lakeside pavilion with a classroom for learning opportunities. And on the back side,
thì phải face on face face là chỉ face face là bây giờ bỏ thì lúc chế nó là lúc rung lên kia thì qua mà bây giờ nó là còn là xử ra cái xe tiếp sang là chúng mình có thả bên một cỡ thả chưa cỡ đó bên một cỡ bên nhỏ mà nó on đầu tiên mà nó đầu thế.
And on the back side there'll be a space for performances, for Tai Chi exercises of whole variety.
Thì nó là ba lúc chế bể bang mà chúng mình thật là bên một qua exercise đầu Tai Chi và to có một nhoi có một người khác.
họ哋每頭特登多出差啲人，我哋頭多我哋一般老師你多哋幫隻老俾成名家哋幫樣我哋幫 engineer 或 architect 幫就面都面有啦，然後俾成名家都人嚟做上呢度數嘅多近大啦嘛，再新嘅讀嘅嘢哈，為民路嘅人做 city designer， 我哋幫人都跑嘅幫每班朋友下去，然後幫撈我哋幫。三位อย่างนั้นจีเจจาวันเด็กพวกเราห้างเราจะภาษา Joyce thank you for coming and you can talk a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Senator. Here today. My name is Joyce Xiao. Joyce is my English name, so my friends call me. But I'd like to let you know that officially my Chinese first name is Chao. This sounds familiar to you, I hope. It's Zhao, but this is a Chinese name. It's also a mountain name, I think. And
我在这边不是被我 Joyce 就是在不是被我那美国我 Joyce 就是不是被调我超调叫 Chao 的，用的被人梦成被的。
Officially, my first name is Chao in the paper, really. And I came to this country in 1948 as a graduate student when I was 21. So now you can figure that I'm 90 years old.
我 graduate 的话，都可能在这些嘛，我考到这些大学嘛，这根本就什么呀。
And during this past 70 years almost, I have been having tremendous great appearance in America. Even though when I came here as a graduate student, my monthly salary from Penn State as a graduate student was $100. And that was enough for me to have a room and board and a few spending dollars. And so my biggest experience, or I was mostly impressed in my living in America, was that America emphasizes love and forgiveness. And in China, we may have the feelings, but we were not supposed to talk about it. In America, you talk about
แต่จะผู้ถามทำอะไรไม่ค่อยเลยผู้นุ่งเชี่ยวเดี๋ยวผู้ตัวเราเด็ดถอว่าที่เขาไอ้เรื่องเกิดต้นสักปีไม่การเต้ไปเดี๋ยวที่เขาเป็นโมเดลชิ้นอย่างสิ่งที่เป็นอะไรที่เขาผู้ว่าว่าที่เขาก็ต้องเป็นคนนี้
And this love and forgiveness impressed me so much that I figured this is a very great country.
เอาว่าเราได้เห็นอะไรเราได้เห็นภาษาเดี๋ยวได้เห็นว่าจะปล่อยมาอย่างปกติรู้ได้ปกติว่าเกี่ยวกับสิ่งต่างๆในข่าวหรือว่าเราได้เห็น
And in the Orient, we often talk about revenge.
เนี่ยเราจะรู้ว่าได้เป็นถามกับเขาเดี๋ยวโป๊ะกลัวโดนชั่ว
But here we talk about inclusiveness, tolerance, and love.
เดี๋ยวนั่นเป็นสารต่อไปเดี๋ยวเราชี้ไปที่เราต่อเราชี้หลักสิ่งต่อชี้รู้ต่อไอ้แต่เราชี้เปิดคือต่อ
And now we come back to the garden. My husband passed away almost 8 years ago.
แต่ผู้ตุสีมาซึ่งตัดสินแม่งเลยจ้องเขาเราเนี่ย
We were traveling a lot while he was alive because he had to give talks to different countries. But whenever we were in other countries, we enjoyed their gardens.
và không có tí nhỏ mà ước mà chỉ tài li các bạn ước gì là này bị tụi tí là tụi mùa cho để tết thở tên tết xí thả ấy để cũng thiết lập tí ấy thì cái tí mà ước nhiều á chứ nhiều so là tết vả tết cũng tết nào.
And so about almost 10 years ago, or over 10 years ago, my husband and I thought it would be great to have a Chinese garden in Minnesota.
Cha lấy cổ trong thao nào của tụi tí theo cụ để xài để ai chỉ thấy ở trong thao nào để ý từ xa ra để lúc vào chùa nhá đâu phải là sao đã là ý lúc rồi.
So I'm so glad now that we realize that we could have a Hmong community involved with the garden.
Dùng xe trong đời mà dùng xe thì cũng một cái chấm mông trong hoặc là cái chấm mông thì cháu gửi cho là một chấm vô là tổng tiền cho nó lúc vào thiết.
And this garden includes Hmong Plaza, which is very unique in the gardens in America. I don't think there's any other garden that has a.
Họ là cũng dùng xe trong đời mà nhà phải để lúc vàoคือว่าพวกเป็นจากมองพวกชัวนี่เจ้าก็เป็นจากมองลูกค้าจ่ายแล้วเราหมดเที่ย
It's unique, and it would remind us and our children or grandchildren, further great-grandchildren, about our ancestors, both Chinese and Hmong. And like my name is CHAO, it is a Hmong. So we hope that the Hmong community can support this garden with love and forgiveness.
Để buổi tiệc xe thì bây giờ không sẽ là khi thơ và bộ cho con nói ra để nó và sẽ là thơ rồi con nói to cái lúc trên phần cái cử chỉ là gì nó để họ nó và trong một cái gì đó.
So thank you, and I hope you support us.
Cho nên sẽ đầu tiên.
Phase 1 and the Sister City gift exchange.
Ok, thì phase E là đều lãnh đạo của thảo ông cái lò đó tụi nó thì E là cho lãnh đạo mà thảo để nó thì ó có là để bây giờ có chi từ và là Snoopy character của nó số tế ở học phòng thì để tụi thì E là nó từ là chi từ này mới thu là nó là cho character chỉnh chỉnh là mà này giờ Lucy này tụi character chỉnh chỉnh cho nó là ra hết thì tụi con nhỉ thằng tế là bên ta để bây giờ mua tụi tín này và nào cho nó cho là một quần chỉ biết để tính năng cho cái trường chỉ trong công để biết sử sai và nó không nhớ cái lúc chuyện gì là để nên là phòng còn mình bỏ ra tòa để biết cho không đi nó biết món bé nó chỉ cả số to để biết món nhá mình cả tên là để món bé là biết thì nó biết thả lên biết chúng mình cả biết là từ nó mình tên thì là phòng khu theo đâu nó cho và ở đầu tiên cho mua từ đó thì ít khỏi chuyện gì đến Lucy mất sáng mới được món rồi để khỏi trong cái để biết thế là gọi biết từ xài món của câu lì tho nó để từ món artist ra để từ nó show card đúng không nó trong thế để thế là gọi câu lì là một card từ đó Lucy nó để Lucy nó mà cũng rồi mấy đại có là biết sai sắp bị nó tí theo và họ biết bỏ cái số nó mà để đại cho họ đại và sát cứ chỉ sát đọc cá nó là sát đọc cá là sát từ một trình nhiệt sát nhé câu liên cỏ tôi trong cái ấy từ xài mông và trong vỏ ba và những cái trắng quả nên thế sát cái chuyện nói thêm mua cho và nó bên một cho xí chén nhỏ bên một cho xí chén này họ chỉnh chén là lấy từ xài nhé nó không của là nhé lú và đắt khỏi cho sát đọc cá là nhé ta đến đó đường hai để có chờ nó và để có chờ mông để xí đại tiếc của nó xui ra đại tiếc lú để biết chờ về hai điểm mông lành mông chúa để đỡ tiếc để xí lú soi nó nó là được có sự chế tạo họ mới còn bên mông tiếc là bây giờ để sát phương tiện là tiếc sát để bỏ số và đừng bỏ còn nó tiếc chúng có lúc xấu tiếc lúc xấu dài mông tiếc để còn nó bên theo nó muốn dress rồi nó thì nó từ bây giờ xa trong đó có Paul-Changsha để nửa lọ đi tụ năng đi theo nửa lọ giá cái đi tụ năng đi theo tụ một đuốc kia để thầu qua tiền lớn để về trong để rút giảm khó mà để chúng ta tiếp của gì nó là trong cho international đấy tôi ว่าโชว์เลยจ้าว่าของเนี่ยเราจะพ่ออย่างรู้ยาวบุพ่อของตาเบ้จะเจ้ารู้สินะมันก็เสียกว่าอย่างนี้จะส่งถึงในตัวเจ้าอะไรเดี๋ยวตอนนั้นเด้จะปอดได้ตัวรู้สิทักก็จะมอกเนี่ยแบบ
And so that we're giving that gift to Changsha. Changsha, we just learned in November last year, so not even a half a year ago, that Changsha is going to give a gift to St. Paul of a replica of the famous Iwan Pavilion that's in Changsha. And so the artist created something that is going to look something like, the design here looks something like what they are going to be sending us. So it'll be a replica, and they're calling it the Xiangjiang Pavilion after the Xiangjiang River that mirrors our Mississippi. And this is the one that's in Changsha that we visited when we were there. And it was originally called the Red Leaf Pavilion or the Hongya Pavilion. And this is a 1792 pavilion.
Trong mấy phòng ship khổ thì cái hỗ trợ đặc biệt này thì sáng sai với sao tôi biết là cái thì sáng sai với sao lúc chế tôi biết điểm là tôi biết đang một tỏi thì lúc chế là mình lúc nhớ kia rồi phải sáng sao và tôi biết tôi sai rồi nhớ là cái thì khi vào lúc mà ta mà thì lúc trong tôi lúc đó là rất cả là mình lúc từ nó chơi hoặc là thì cho kia lúc đó tôi là được để nó chơi xa cái nữa tôi thứ này là những con mình khắp tự nhiên nó tôi này để cho xa tôi thấy cho thì nó này.
And this pavilion is one of the 4 famous pavilions in China. So anyone who sees this replica at Phalen Park will know the connection with St. Paul and with Changsha. And this gift was not an easy gift because this gift is worth a lot more than what we are giving them. We are so lucky that we have developed that rich relationship with Changsha. So part of phase 1 is the replica pavilion. So it'll be the pavilion set on a foundation and then the landscaping immediately around it. And this is what it might look like as you approach it. There's some beautiful oak trees near it, and the intention is to keep those trees to form that backdrop around it. Another part of phase 1 is the Hmong Cultural Plaza that you've heard about, and this is the artist rendering of what that might look like. And here you can see it from what it looks like from above, and how it sets in. And so this is the design of it. This is another view of it. Yes.
So this is just an artist's conception, and the final design is not done yet?
That's correct. So these are called conceptual designs. This is to give us all ideas of what the possibilities might be. We're going to talk in a few minutes about some advisory groups that we'll be forming to advise the artists and the architects about the details of this and what should actually be on here. So this is an artist's idea of what this might look like, but it's there's no construction documents created yet.
giá để biết có được thứ mà tôi dùng cái giá của chúng ta chỉ nói để biết chỉ nó mua những ban những năng của để mong là cái loại chụp có thể bắt em quái rồi nói là một chỉ có sẽ về của nó chỉ cho mỗi kia thì dùng cái biết nào nó chỉ nó là nó mới cho xem được đó.
And the Hmong Cultural Plaza came about because when we were talking with Senator Hur originally, and then when the architects came here, Senator Hur had emphasized that there should be some Hmong symbols that are represented in the park. And so this was the architect's idea about how to incorporate that into the park.
Vàอีกคนที่จะมองเอลเมนต์มันมองเด็กของเราเขาว่าที่อะไรอ่ะเด็กอาจจะเป็นแต่ก็ที่เนี่ยโอ้ยเดี๋ยวเด็กมองเขาค่าแบบนั้นเลยที่จะที่เขาเชิญไปเลยเมื่อตอนมองได้ตั้งตู้จะจอเราเขาเองแบบไม่มองมั่วเนาะแล้วแบบเขาเที่ยงนะ
There is no China garden in the world that has a Hmong Cultural Plaza. This will be the only one.
chỉ tôi mớiรู้ว่าชัวร์เนี่ยเขาจะเต้นไหนเดี๋ยวมองเด็กของตัวเนี่ยแบบเขาเดี๋ยวรู้หน่อยรู้ว่าชัวร์เดี๋ยวมองแบบ
And so, go back one. These are just, go back one. Oh. These are some of the ideas that the architect has, and again, these will be, we will be asking for other ideas, but you can see up on top, there's the gang, and then some embroidery and other symbols. And this shows some of the ideas that the architect had for Hmong patterns in the pavements. If you remember from the picture, there was an entrance into that, and so those symbols would line the pavement, the sidewalk that leads into the Hmong Cultural Plaza. Again, these are ideas. What the actual symbols are will be decided in the future. And the final element of phase one is the entrance arch. And so you can see the entrance arch, and right at the bottom of the entrance arch on the left side is the pathway into the Hmong Cultural Plaza with the symbols on the pavement. Senator Hur had also made a request to have some Hmong symbols around the pavilion area. And so we asked the Changsha architects for an idea for that. And this is the idea that she has. On the back wall, there is a Hmong embroidery wall. So it's the Hmong embroidery symbols on the wall. You can see a little bit here. Whether there is writing on there or it's all design or what the design is, that is still going to be decided. This is a conceptual idea to give you an idea of what that might look like. You can see a close-up of the suggested design. So as you can see, we're trying to balance, this is a China garden, that's our mission, but because of the strong connection between the Hmong community and Changsha, it also will have a strong Hmong element to it. So as we design it going forward, it's always that balance to make sure that it's authentic and that we honor both cultures.
วันเนี่ยมันไม่ถึงก็ออนอะไรใช้ที่ชอบของคนอื่นเราก็ที่หลุดต่อเที่ยงทัน
And then on a personal note, I just want to say that this has been a great learning experience for me. I've learned a lot about Chinese culture and architecture, and more recently I've learned a lot about Hmong history and Hmong culture. And last year I was lucky enough to attend the International Hmong Symposium at Concordia that Professor Li Baoxiong put on, and I met many Hmong scholars who further educated me. I've been reading everything that Jeff and Noah sent to me. I cried all the way through Gao Kalia Yang's book, The Late Ho-Comer, after I heard her speak at the symposium. We're trying to educate ourselves as much as we can, and so I hope that our sincerity comes through to you, and that we really can make a world-class garden here that is unlike anything else in the world.
Đúng rồi, chúng ta là một của mình những món to cần các vấn đề về vấn đề về cái đầu là